I'm Ryan from Prima, and this is the Fellow Stagg EKG Pro. The best variable temperature pouring kettle on the market just got better. The EKG Pro introduces refined hardware and a refreshed UI with a full color display and helpful new features that add even more appeal to this already fantastic pouring kettle. Like its predecessor, the Stagg EKG, the EKG Pro is a 0.9 liter precision pouring kettle designed specifically for single cup pour over brewing. Its gooseneck spout offers unparalleled flow control compared to other electric kettles, allowing for anything from a trickle to a full stream with clean laminar flow. The EKG Pro's weighted handle also provides ideal balance in the hand, allowing you to focus more on the coffee and the precision of your pouring technique. The EKG Pro includes a simple and intuitive user interface and click wheel to select and hold water temperatures within increments of 1 degree Fahrenheit or Celsius. Getting started is incredibly easy. Just tap the button and the kettle will automatically begin heating towards that target temperature. To change the temperature setting, simply turn the dial to your preferred temperature and then let it go. It really couldn't be any more simple to get started for your morning pour over. The EKG Pro and its lid is made of 304 stainless steel, accented by a plastic or wood handle or knob and a plastic heating base. No water is going to touch any plastic on the kettle, but there is a silicone gasket around the lid and a silicone sleeve over the temperature probe in the bottom of the kettle. In its newest iteration, the EKG Pro now includes some helpful new features that make the kettle even more useful. So let's scroll through this menu and take a look at some of these new options. Let's take a look at the EKG Pro up close. Right now the kettle is turned off and the display shows the current time. In addition to a click wheel, the EKG Pro now has a menu button which launches you straight into the menu from either on or off mode. So to begin heating the kettle, hit the click wheel once and the kettle will begin heating to your last set temperature. To change that temperature, simply move the click wheel and then let go and the kettle will take care of the rest. It is really that easy. Let's take a look at the menu. The first new feature is called Schedule. Now, if I turn this on, it'll allow me to set a time in the morning for the water to begin heating. Then it'll allow me to choose a set temperature for that. When you're on the home screen and the kettle is turned off, it will now display that set temperature and the time at which the kettle is going to turn on. The next menu feature is Guide Mode. When Guide Mode is turned on, from the set screen you can scroll through some presets like French press, AeroPress, white or green tea, and then there's also pour over and black and herbal tea. These are just basic temperature settings just in case you don't know what temperature to use for something like a new tea. Chime is the next menu option. Pretty self-explanatory, it's just the volume of the chime. If you're like me, you want that all the way off. Next is units, that's just Fahrenheit or Celsius. In general mode, we can choose between a digital or an analog clock. There's also Bluetooth enablement and a language setting. Altitude is an interesting feature. It's basically a temperature limiter. So here in Louisville, Kentucky, for example, we're at about 500 feet, which means our water boils at about 211 degrees. So wherever you are, set the altitude in increments of 100 feet. Once you have it set, hit the click wheel, and you should never have to mess with that again. When pre-boil is turned on, it will boil the water before it reaches your set temperature. So for example, in schedule mode, if I have it set to reach 200 degrees at 6:30, it'll first turn on the kettle, go all the way up to boiling temperature, and then let it cool down to your set temperature. And that's just a way to kill any bacteria that's left in the water that sat stagnant overnight, if that's a concern for you. Hold mode now has 15-minute increments that you can program up to 1 hour, or you can turn that off. And that's it. That is the new menu in the EKG Pro. Fellow's new software is also Bluetooth, Wi-Fi compatible for OTA updates to software and firmware in the future, ensuring that your kettle is always going to be up to date. Fellow added a silicone gasket underneath this lid, which is there to prevent spilling out of that lid when the kettle is tilted at steep angles. About half of the time, we actually found that the kettle would still leak out of that lid because this gasket sits a little bit loosely. After this video was filmed, we did contact Fellow about this. They let us know that their designers are aware of the issue and they are working on a quick fix for that gasket. If you are brewing more than 2 cups of coffee at a time, say for an 8 to 10 cup Chemex, you might actually be better served by a higher capacity kettle like the Brewista Artisan Gooseneck kettle. So that is the Fellow EKG Pro electric pouring kettle. Check it out at primacoffee.com. Thanks for watching. Meh, meh, meh.